Hello, can everyone hear me? So, this stream I'm going to be learning Svelte. I think that's how you pronounce it. I heard a lot about it. I'm familiar with React, but I've never used Svelte. So, I'm going to be doing their tutorials this stream. And I have VS Code open, so from their tutorials, the things I learn, I might code some of it myself. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is their website. This is the first page I've seen, and looking at the contents. So I did do React before, like I have familiarity with React. So I guess this would be easy. I'm learning just Svelte right now, and then later I will learn SwiftKit. And then I have this folder open. Wait, sorry, I have this folder open. And the first thing they said that if I want to use it on my machine, I have to create a project using npx svcreate. Let's try that. npx svcreate. What is Svelte? Svelte is a tool for building web applications. Like other user interface frameworks, it allows you to build your app declaratively out of components that combine markup styles and behaviors. These components are compiled into a small, efficient JavaScript modules that eliminate overhead traditionally associated with UI frameworks. You can build an application is composed from one or more components. An application is composed from one or more components. A component is a reusable, self-contained block of code that encapsulates HTML, CSS, and JavaScript that belong together, written in a .svelte file. The app.svelte file, open in the code editor to the right, is a simple component. Okay, this here app.svelte is a component. A component that just renders some static markup isn't very interesting. Let's add some data. First, add a script tag to your component and declare a name variable. So, okay. So they want me to add this. Does it autofill? Script. Let name be. Okay, it's stuck again. Name be mysterious. Do I have to specify lang? Can you use TypeScript like in the HTML? No. Lang isn't. Hold on, never mind. What's the lang here in the script thing? Hello world. This is name. Then we can refer to name in the markup. Inside the curly brackets, we can just put any JavaScript we want. Try changing name to, okay, name dot to uppercase. To uppercase. Okay, we can put JavaScript in here. So let's see. Enter. No, I want just the library. TypeScript. Should I add any of these? ESLint maybe. Okay. And npm. Wait, before I do something, I just want to. I can't remember what script uh, lang was for. Was it for to specify TypeScript or JavaScript? But can you use TypeScript on like in pure HTML? Hold on. Apparently, it's deprecated. Oh, language is deprecated, but lang isn't. I'll search it up later. Let's go next. Just like you can use curly braces to control text, you can use them to control element attributes. Our image is missing a source. Let's add one. So source tutorials image.gif image, and then source is the source mentioned above. Oh, that's better, but if you hover over the image in the editor, Svelte is gonna give us a warning. It should have an alt attribute. Let's just add. When building web apps, curly braces inside attributes, try changing it to name dances. Remember to declare a name variable. Shouldn't it be, isn't it like the scope is in here? If we declare let over here, does the variable scope go to the entire file? Name. What's his name? Actually, I don't know. Rick? Uh, Rick. Sorry. Name dances. It's not uncommon to have an attribute where the name and value are the same. So it gives us a convenient shorthand for these cases. Oh, if the variable name is the same as the attribute, we can just do it like this. Just like in HTML, you can add a style tag to your component. Let's add some styles to the P element. This is a paragraph. Importantly, these rules are scoped to the component. You won't accidentally change the style of P elements elsewhere in your app, as we will see in the next step. So this is your, okay. Oh, I see. So if I copy and paste is disabled. So if I add a style over here to P, it will be restricted to this Svelte app. Color red. Okay. Is this done? Installing dependencies. It would be impractical to put your entire app in a single component. Instead, we can import components from other files and include them in our markup. Add a script tag to the top of the app.salt that imports nested.salt. So script, okay. Script import nested from dot nested sort. This is a paragraph. So what did we import? This is another paragraph. And include the nested component. Okay. Nested. This is okay. So the P style is only applies to this P, but the styles don't affect over here. Ordinarily, strings are inserted as plain text, meaning that characters like the angle brackets have no special meaning. But sometimes you need to render HTML directly into a component. For example, the words you are reading right now exist in a markdown file that's included on this page as a blob. You're all set. Okay, let's see what we have. Let's see in here. So learning Svelte, this folder. Why is this Svelte kit? I did not download Svelte kit. Node modules, sources, static. Let's see the package. White.dev, white.build, white preview. Uh, white dev. Hold on. Should it be npm run dev? Npm run dev. At the heart of Sweat is a powerful system of reactivity for keeping the DOM in sync with your application state. For example, in response to an event, make the count declaration reactive by wrapping the value with state, $state. This is called a rune, and it's how you test why that count isn't an ordinary variable. Runes like functions. Runes look like functions, but they are not. When you use Swift, they're part of the language itself. That's all, and all that's left is to implement increment. So we have count, we have increment, on click increment. Okay, so if I click this, it runs this function. So clicked count times. So count is 0, and then when we increment, count becomes +1. So this doesn't increase. We need to re-render it. And we re-render it by doing the state thing. Slash state 0. Okay, so every time count changes, it will re-render the button again. As we saw in the previous exercise, state reacts to reassignments, but it also reacts to mutations. We call this deep reactivity. Make numbers a reactive array. State add numbers. On click, add a number, numbers.join. Why is it like dot dot dot? Then we need to change the array. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Isn't there like a push numbers dot wait for arrays? If we have an array dot add maybe. I'm just testing one thing. The autofill doesn't work. Uh, okay, let's just do numbers. And then at the end, numbers at the end, and shouldn't this give an error? Length plus 1. Hold on. Answer, toggle device, move activity bar. Nope. I want to like take it out. Yeah. I want to test one thing. So this dot, was there a push? Yeah, there was a push, right? And then it would let's just do let r be this r. How do I 0? Doesn't that dot push add like a new element? Dot dot add maybe. Oh, I know what's wrong. Has to be this, and then dot push, and then yeah, now it works. But can I do for undefined? Now it's defined, and then oh, because I didn't know we could do that. I thought we had to use push. Anyways, next chapter. Often you will need to derive state from other state. For this, we have the derived run. Also, what's the status of this? Localhost 5173. Use host to expose. Okay, I will, hold on. Localhost 5173. Okay, while it loads over there, you will need to derive state from other state. For this, we have derived run. Derived numbers dot reduce. We can now use this in our markup. So why can't we just use state over here? The expression inside the derived declaration will be re-evaluated whenever its dependencies, in this case just numbers, are updated. Unlike normal states, the derived state is read only. Okay. Create your package with Svelte.js package and preview showcase your work with SvelteKit. Welcome to your library project. Where is this? app.html, Svelte.head, Svelte.body, libraries, routes, page.svelte. Welcome to your library. Okay, this is the content. Okay, let's just install Svelte. Install Svelte. And let's see this. Welcome to your library project. Svelte.head, Svelte.body. Where is this coming from? Static libraries index SvelteKit. Anyways, if I make changes here, testing, would there be changes there? Yeah. Okay. Let total derived numbers dot reduce. Okay, so we have this state 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we are adding, right? Add, and then we need to change this, which is let total be numbers dot. This is probably an easier way to do this. Numbers. It's dot reduce. It's basically this line. Hold on. Numbers dot reduce. I'm copying what they did. T n T plus n. I think T is the current one. No, total is the previous one, what the actual value is right now. And then n is the current element. And then 0 is what we start with. And this is, all this is it derived. And we need total here. Total. No dollar. It's often useful to be able to track the value of a piece of state as it changes over time. Inside the add number function, we have added a console log statement, but if you click the button and open the console drawer using the button to the right, okay, I don't think you can see it on stream. The console is shown here. But if you click the button on the right and open the console drawer, you would see a warning and a message saying that the message could not be cloned. So inside the add number function, we have added a console.log. So add and open console.log, and it says state proxies, consider using inspect or state snapshot instead. Message could not be cloned. Open DevTool to see it. That's because numbers is a reactive proxy. There are a couple of things we can do. Firstly, we can create a non-reactive snapshot of the state. So numbers, console.numbers. So how are they doing this? State snapshot. State snapshot. Numbers. So add number. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there should be like a hotkey to open and close the console log. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alternatively, we can use the inspect run to automatically log a snapshot of the state whenever it changes. This code will automatically be stripped out of your production build. Inspect numbers. So instead of this, inspect numbers. So okay, so every time the state changes, it will initial update. Okay, and then if I do this again, initial update. You can customize how the information is displayed by using inspect with. For example, you can use console.trace to see where the state change originated from. With con console.trace. Now add number twice. Okay, this is the initial. Okay, what if I do I so add twice with the testing using with function. Console.log maybe. Initial update. Okay, let's do j comma j. So I is whether it's initial or update, and the j is the actual thing. So I can write numbers over here in case if I have many similar states. Yeah, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And then add twice. Yeah. Okay. Next. So far we have talked about reactivity in terms of state. But that's only half of the equation. State is only reactive if something is reacting to it. Otherwise, it's just a sparkling variable. The thing that reacts is an effect. You've already encountered effects, the ones that Svelte creates on your behalf to update the DOM in response to state changes, and you can also create your own with the effect rune. Most of the time you shouldn't. Effect is the best thought as an escape hatch rather than something to use frequently. If you can put your side effects in an event handler, for example, that's almost always preferable. Let's say you want to use set interval to keep track of how long the component has been mounted. Create the effect. Click the speed up buttons a few times and notice that elapse ticks up faster because we are calling set interval each time interval gets smaller. Hold on. So far we have talked about reactivity in terms of state, but that's only half of it. State is only reactive if something is reacting to it. Otherwise, it's just a sparkling variable. The thing that reacts is called an effect. The thing that reacts is called an effect. You already encountered effects, the ones that Svelte creates on your behalf to update the DOM, but you can change your own, but you can create your own with the effect rune. So state and then effect. Effect are the changes and states are the variables that make the change. No, that cause and effect, I should say. So this set inter set interval elapsed elapsed plus 1, and then this is interval. Now what? State 1000. Okay, so this is going in an infinite loop and it runs whenever the page loads. On click interval by half. Okay, so this on click changes the interval by half, speed up doubles the interval, and then interval state will change. And every time elapse changes, this re-renders, right? Would the speed up and speed down button change re-render every time? That's correct. That's correct. I don't understand. Why isn't the slowdown not working? Is there something wrong with the example? It should wait 8 seconds, right? Interval. Click the speed up. Because we are calling set interval each time, the interval gets smaller. If we then click the slow down button, well, it doesn't work. That's because we are not clearing out the old intervals when the effect updates. Okay. You can fix this by returning a cleanup function. So const id all the set intervals, they're like mixing up with each other. That's why it was happening. And then return. So every time this effect is called, run this function in the end. Clear interval id. So every time the update changes, run this function with the old effect, and with the new effect start doing this, right? The cleanup function is called immediately before the effect reruns when the interval changes and also when the component is destroyed. If the effect function doesn't read any state when it runs, it only runs once when the component mounts. Okay, I think I'm gonna get confused with the React stuff. Okay, let's try again. Speed up, slow down. Now it's working. In the preceding exercises, we used runes to add reactivity inside components, but we can also use runes outside components. For example, to share some global state. The counter component in this exercise are all importing the counter object from the shade.js, but it's a normal object, and as such nothing happens when you click the buttons. Wrap the object in state. Export const counter state. So let's see what's happening here. We have counter updates. Okay. Shade.js has counter. This what is counter? Are all importing the counter object from shade.js. Okay. This is a JavaScript object which is being exported to here. And then this renders a button which increments counter and displays it. So clicks counter.count, which is 0. And we have counter here, counter. Okay. First we need to change this to a state. So it's a state object. State. State is only because you can't use runes in normal JS files. Only Svelte.js. Let's fix that. Rename. Shouldn't it just be okay? Svelte.js. Dot Svelte. Share.svelte.js and share.svelte.js. Now when you click on the button, all three will update simultaneously. So far we have dealt exclusively with internal state, that is to say the values are only accessible within a given component. In any real application, you will need to pass data from one component down to its children. To do that, we need to declare properties, generally shortened to props. In Swell, we do that with the props run, edited in nested.swell component. So let's see. So we have clicks. Generally shortened to props. In Swell, we can do that with the props run. Edit the nested.swell component. There is no nested.swell component here. Why didn't this update? Hold on, what's happening? Okay, we have this. And there we go. So far, we have dealt exclusively with internal state, that is to say the values are only accessible within a given component. In any real application, you will need to pass data from one component down to its children. So nested, we have answer 42. And let answer be nothing at first. Where is the props? Wait, I thought it has to be one component. So this is P is the only component, right? So answer props. And then props. Props, which is nothing right now. And then 42 is, yeah, 42 is the props is the answer, and when 42 answer is updated, so wait, props are states. When props change, they would re-render, right? So script let num equal 42 num, which is 42, set uh, window dot set timeout one argument required but 0 present. The default is 1 second, so num will change to 45. And wait, this should be a state. State why is it so fast? $42. When would this? Okay, now it changes to 40. Oh, that's why. If we pass in state, they will change, right? When we pass in normal variables, they wouldn't change, I'm guessing. We can easily specify default values for props in nested.svelte. Answer a mystery. So let answer be mystery. Now if you add a second component without an answer prompt, it will fall back to the default. Nested. In this exercise at .sweat, in this exercise in app.sweat, you have forgotten to pass the name prompt expected by packageinfo.sweat. Packageinfo.sweat name version description website is props. The name package is description. Download version download version from, I should do it like this, download version from, and learn more here. Let's see. So they forgot to add, we have name, version description website, and they forgot to add name. But don't worry, we have a default here. And the name is package.name. But since the properties of package correspond to the component's expected props, we can spread them onto the component instead. Package. Wait, if let's say website is not defined, would it cause an error? Yeah. Conversely, in packageinfo.served, you can get an object containing all the props that were passed into a component using the rest property. Name and stuff. or by skipping destructing altogether, in which case you can access the properties by their object's path. Okay, props logic. Let's finish the basic one this stream. HTML doesn't have a way of expressing logic like conditionals and loops, so it does. To conditionally render some markup, we can wrap it in an if block. Let's add some text that appears when count is greater than 10. Why isn't this loaded? So count state increment count plus 1. Uh, okay. So conditional rendering, you do it like this. If count is more than 10, and then this is end if p count is greater than 10. Just like in JavaScript, an if block can have an else block. Okay. Else p count is between 0 and 10. So hash opens a block, slash closes a block, and the colon continues a block. You have learned almost all the syntax world adds to HTML. Else if uh, else if else if count is less than 5, count is less than 5, eight, more than 5, less than 5, between 5 and 10. Yeah, less than 5, between 5 and 10. Okay. When building user interfaces, you'll often find yourself working with a list of data. In this exercise, we have repeated the button markup multiple times, changing the color each time. But there's still more to add. Instead of laboriously copying, pasting, and editing, we can get rid of all but the first button. Then use an each block. Okay, so we have all of these colors. To do, add the rest of the colors. Right. Pick a color, red, orange. So we can do a loop slash each colors as color, and then end the block. pick a color, color selected. By default it's 0. So background color, label color. I mean, it's already a string, so just have to do this. If color selected is color, then select is color, and we don't need all this. I like the design of this. One click, select color. The expression colors in this case can be iterable or array-like object. In other words, anything that works with array.from. Now we need to use the color variable in place of red. Okay, this is what is this? Okay. You can get the current index as a second argument. Button. Okay. Color and I. The value of button is I plus 1. Keyed each block. By default, updating the value of an each block will add or remove DOM nodes at the end of the block if its size changes, and update the remaining DOM. That might not be what you want. It's easier to show why than to explain. Inside thing.salt, name is a dynamic prop, but emoji is a constant. Okay, let's see what they did. Yep, thing. And we have app. So thing, constant, emojis, the name prompt. Emojis is fixed upon initialization. So emoji, I mean, it's choosing Apple at first. How is it doing emoji and name? Oh, from app. So each things as thing is this component. So Apple, okay. So things, ID and name. On click things dot shift, remove first thing. Oh, it's causing that's the error here. So why is it doing this? Each things as thing dot name. Perhaps we need emoji to update, right? Name is a dynamic prop, but emoji is a constant. It removes the last component. It then updates the name value in the remaining DOM. Okay. If you're coming from React, this might seem strange because you're used to the entire component re-rendering when the state changes. So it works differently. The component runs once. Subsequent updates are fine-grained. This makes things faster and gives you more control. One way to fix it would be to make emoji a derived value, but it makes more sense to remove the first thing component altogether rather than remove the last one and update all the others. Wait, would the derived part work? So let this derived Remove first thing. So derived works. You can specify a unique key for each iteration of the each block. Thing. What's happening here? Name thing dot name thing dot id id. You can use any object as a key as the Svelte uses a map internally. In other words, you can do thing instead of thing.id. So what is happening? Oh, we still have derived. Let's get rid of this. And it still works. Thing component altogether rather than remove the last one. And update all the others. Remove first thing. Things.shift. So what I'm imagining, every time things update, every time things updates, this entire block would update, right? If I press remove, then thing.name, okay, so I'm guessing it's not just the prop that changes. Normally it's just this that changes and the right side re-renders, but instead the entire thing re-renders now with thing.id. Most web applications have to deal with asynchronous data at some point. Svelte makes it easy to await the value of promises directly in your markup. Await, promise, then number, you rolled a number. Catch error and then end await. So roll, promise state, roll, button on click, promise roll, roll the dice. So first it's rolling, and roll itself is a asynchronous function, returns a promise. Okay, so await. Uh, Await. What are we awaiting? This promise. Promise. And then what? We are waiting for this promise to resolve. Where is the number coming from? Is it from util? Async role. Oh, I think number is the output of returns new promise, fulfill, reject, return, flaky, simulate a flaky network. There's a 30% chance of a flaky network. Then fulfill. Okay, number is the output of fulfill, I think. Number. You rolled a number. You rolled a two. Okay, where's the network error? There should be 1 in 3 chance, right? Yeah, it did nothing. Catch error. Catch error. 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 Request failed. Events. How many chapters are left? Events, bindings, classes and styles, transitions. Okay, I will just read the events part and then I will end the stream. As we have briefly seen already, you can listen to any DOM event on an element, such as click or pointer move, with an on name function. Div on pointer move, on pointer move event. Yes, state X and Y, on pointer move. What is it? Is on pointer move a built-in function? Is it window dot on pointer move like that? Document point. No, it's like a DOM event. Mat dot round. Okay, they're doing that over here. Style. So why isn't this running? Like with any other property where the name matches the value, we can use the short form on pointer move. On point move. Pointer has moved. I know we can use the short form, but just for practice. 0, 0. Where's the style? Div border. Solid 1 pixel black. Position is fixed with 100. Let's do 50. 50. You can also declare event. Let me read out the page. You can also declare event handlers in line. Okay. Normally, event handlers run during bubbling phase. Notice what happens if you type something into the input. In this example, the inner handler runs first as the event bubbles from the target up to the document, followed by other handler. So first input handles it and then div handles it. Okay, O. If I type K, if I type K, sometimes you want handlers to run during the capture phase instead. Add capture to the end of the, what do they mean by capture phase? Capture to the end of the event name. Now the relative order is reversed. If both capture and non-capturing handlers exist for a given event, the capturing handlers will run first. On key down, capture. Okay, now div versus and then input. But what exactly is capture? During the capture phase, you can pass events. Wait, what if I do this capture input and then div capture f f. So capture comes first, right? And then the normal function runs second. You can pass event handlers to components like any other props. In stepper.salt, let's see, we have props, minus and plus, add increment and decrement props. Increment, decrement, and add the on click, decrement, on click, increment. You have state which is 0, the current value is 0. Where are the buttons? Oh, in this stepper, right? Stepper component events. Okay, so we define the functions and we are passing the functions here. Increment a function value plus 1. Oh, no. Over here. Increment is value plus 1. My head is covered. Decrement value minus 1. Okay, so we can pass in functions as well. We can also spread event handlers directly onto elements. Here we have defined an on-click handler in the app.swift. All we need is to pass the prompt to the button in the big red button.swift. Big red button on audio.loud, audio.play, on-click honk. Big red button. So where's the function? Button.push. You can also use the spread event. Where's the props? On click. Instead of passing in honk, they can pass in props. Dot dot dot. Okay, now it's about bindings. Okay, this I think I will do next stream. So this over here, enable. Let's see why it doesn't say the testing bit. Welcome to your library project, and then testing, that's what I wrote. And all the things I'm learning, I can do it in the over here, right? I still don't know what's this page is dot so. Like when I was installing, I just said salt library. I did not say salt kit. How do I get Svelte as just the library, not the entire framework? Okay, anyways, I'll just end the stream here. The next stream I will complete the basic Svelte tutorial. Well, at least I hope I completed. Anyways, see you next time. Bye.